In today's video, you're going to discover how traditional Chinese medicine and Chinese astrology can completely transform your approach to aging and skincare. We're going to dive deep into the fascinating world of TCM beauty, exploring how ancient wisdom meets modern science, and you're going to learn some practical tips that you can actually start using tonight, like a simple 3-breath technique that's going to help you not only fall asleep faster, but sleep more deeply. Plus, we're going to uncover the surprising connections between your birth chart, the 5 elements, and what your skin is really trying to tell you about your overall health. I'm sitting down today with Angela Gray. She is an acupuncturist and herbalist who's been practicing traditional Chinese medicine for decades. She grew up in Manhattan's Chinatown, where TCM, or traditional Chinese medicine, was her family's primary form of healthcare. And now she's the co-founder of Yina, a TCM-based beauty brand that's revolutionizing how we think about skincare. She also studies Chinese astrology and has this incredible ability to connect the dots between mind, body, and spirit. I'd love for you to stick around to the end because Angela has actually generously offered an exclusive discount for our modern aging community, but you got to wait until the end to find out all the deets. I'm Risa Morimoto, your host, and you're watching Modern Aging, where we talk about healthy ways to navigate midlife holistically. If you're new to the channel, I'd love for you to subscribe. All you got to do is click on that button below, and then that way you'll get notified every single time we post a new video. Now, let's dive in. Hey Angela, so nice to see you again.
Hello, hello. How are you doing, Risa?
I'm good. I am really excited today because we're going to talk about some of your favorite topics, which happens to be some of my favorite topics. And that is astrology, all things TCM, which is traditional Chinese medicine, beauty products, and maybe we'll get to food, I don't know. But just kind of how all of these seemingly disparate things or, lanes of study are actually all really interconnected. And I love the fact that you have kind of created the map and the path for many of us to kind of realize the interconnectedness and the value of it all. But I would love for you to chat a little bit more about your beginnings first. How did you even get interested in astrology and TCM and then actually create a company to create beauty products, TCM beauty products? I know it's a tall order.
Yeah, I'm like, where do we begin?
But start wherever you want to start. I know, exactly.
Thank you for having me, by the way, and happy to share our story. And just wanted to let you know, really admire what you're doing and saying hello to the audience. So I'm Angela Chow Gray. I'm a licensed acupuncturist and also board certified herbalist. And my background is, I guess in many ways, it's all things Chinese medicine, but it's really about my life. I was exposed to Chinese medicine at really young age. It's really was my primary form of medicine that I actually my parents took me to, take care of whatever ailments, whether it be a cold, a sore throat, or even I sprained my knee playing basketball, like all these things, we would actually go see a Chinese medicine doctor. I grew up in Manhattan, Chinatown area, and it was really easily accessible. So my parents would take me to the Chinese doctor for all sorts of things. So, and I remember as a kid, I would hate it because I would have to drink the traditional herbal teas that were cooked, it's a bunch of herbs that were cooked. And then at the very end, you would get a little plum, which is a little bit of sweetness to help you drink down all this bitter. But as a young kid, you're like, what is this? Why do I have to drink this bitter concoction?
Oh, awful.
It was so awful.
I've had it also.
So awful, but I actually felt better after. But you don't think that. I always remember just the awful part, right? But as I, grew up older, I'm like, oh, actually, it actually helped really immensely, and I actually healed a lot quicker. And especially, I had a knee injury. I used to play a lot of basketball as a kid, and I would fall on like literally the cement because it's like concrete jungle in New York City. So fall on the cement, sprained my knee, and went to a bone setting doctor. They put this herbal plaster on my knee, and I'm like, what is this smelly goop that is attached or you have to put on my knee? Like, really, does it really help? But it actually did. Like, literally, I was limping, and then 2 days later, I was not limping anymore. So, like, there was just
Whoa.
there's just all these like personal experiences of me being exposed to Chinese medicine at a young age and integrating it into my life. My parents really believed in it, so they actually cooked and ate with the seasons. So, my mom would have two fridge, like one had all the herbs, and then the second one also had herbs and a very small section for our regular daily food that we would eat, right? But everything was dried herbs. And so we cook all these herbal soups and tonics to kind of balance our bodies based off of the seasons and the elements. So if it was like really hot in the summertime, we would eat more cooling foods or cooling tonics. So anyway, I can go on and on about it, but having this exposure at a very young age really impart a lot of like strong impression about Chinese medicine. Of course, there's a part of me that was very much Western educated and went to university, studied biology, and dabbled into Western medicine, and for a bit was on that path. And it was really hard for me to kind of connect the two. I'm like, wait, what? Like, is this real? Because everyone's telling you that your traditional medicine is fake and it's woo woo and it's like not, that doesn't work. But, if you really think about it as an adult, like, if it didn't work, why would it still exist? It's like over 2,000 years old. It's a really, really in-depth studied medicine. There's so many, I could even say scientific experimentation on humans, right? Studying what what herbs work well with the body. And what's so beautiful about Chinese medicine, it's all about harmony and integration with the entire body. So let's say I'm having pain in a certain area or I'm having a cold. It's not like, oh, I'm just going to address the cold. No, you're actually addressing the entire body. So like if you are having a cold, I wouldn't give you the same medicine that I would give another person because, your internal constitution can be very, very different. So you have to balance it. So all these concepts, of course, I learned later when I went to Chinese medicine school, but really um, pushed me towards studying Chinese medicine was a class at UC Berkeley studying medical ethnobotany. And when I learned that actually 80% of the world uses what we deem in the West calling it as alternative medicine as their primary form of medicine, which is not alternative at all, that was like the light bulb that was like, oh, aha, like actually, and they had a huge section about traditional Chinese medicine. And I'm like,
Wow.
wow, actually, what I was doing, it's like, there's relevance. Like, it wasn't a woo woo thing. Like, there's actually like found basis to it. And of course, I would say the past 15, 20 years, I've seen how the field has evolved. There's more and more scientific research that really supports the evidence of using a lot of these herbal remedies and also acupuncture techniques and this medicine in general and how it can really help and integrate with Western medicine to treat patients. So super fascinating. And I love bridging the two because I find both is very, very relevant and how can we actually support people better and help them with preventative medicine. Like how do we not get to the stage where it's cancer? How do we feel better, feel more vibrant as we age, right? So yeah, I love Chinese medicine. So hopefully that explains some of it.
No, no, I love everything that you just said, and it's so true. And it doesn't have to be an either or,
Hmm.
right? And I think that the more that people get to know and experience traditional Chinese medicine, they realize how it can work for their bodies. And when you see it work for yourself, then of course, it's
Oh
easy to get
yeah.
sold on it.
And then once you
Um,
realize the connection, you're like it's just everything opens up and then you realize, oh, there's actually methodology to eating, when to eat. There's a methodology of when to sleep, like all these things that have been studied as human beings, as civilizations, like, okay, how do you be the best human that you can be, right? Where you are feeling very good, you have good bowel movements, your sleep is well, and you're just aging in a way that you feel like content and vibrant. So I am a huge proponent about sharing all these tips that Chinese medicine has to share with everyone, and especially here in the West. Like, hey, how can we integrate a lot of these, what we call, they're not really ancient, but these concepts and principles that are so relevant, and now they're backed by science and research, which is even more amazing.
Yeah, no, it's so incredible. And I do think that, they really complement one another, right? It's like Eastern medicine and Western medicine. They both have their places, right? And I think that, like your knee example is like the perfect kind of example, right? Where, you know, I don't know if you needed surgery, get surgery, but like the Chinese medicine can help in so many other ways in terms of healing faster and
Mm-hmm.
helping to reduce the pain and without having to get hooked on opioids or whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's really just a place for it, and I just hope that part of why I want to talk to people like you is to really expose them and to not. And I think there's a lot of fear around it because the fear is just really not knowing, right? I mean, that's where it
Yeah,
stems
and
from.
it's really inspiring you to just be more in tune with your body and yourself. Like, how do you feel? How are you feeling when you're eating something, or how are you feeling when you're consuming or taking something? Is it affecting your cognitive ability? Is it affecting your overall mood, your energy? Like, all these things should be factored in when you're taking any type of supplement, any type of drug or medicine. Like, these are things that you should be aware of. And so in Chinese medicine, when we prescribe something to a patient, especially if it's for some type of ailment, we try to make sure that everything is balanced to your own constitution. So when we treat you, so I create a lot of products, but my products are really more for general use. But if you really are wanting to explore Chinese medicine and really wanting to see what can be done specifically for you, I would highly recommend that you see a licensed practitioner because they can just support you through many things in life.
No, that's so wonderful. And so I wanted you to talk a little bit about kind of the customization of Chinese medicine and then kind of going into astrology too, right? Because astrology
Oh
is also
yeah.
very customized, right?
Yes,
Um,
yes, yes.
and tailored to that person in terms of where, when, they
Yeah.
were born and all the things.
I
So tell
was
me
I
about the kind of
was
customizing to see.
yeah, I was definitely not a believer of astrology. Like, I didn't become a believer until actually after I studied Chinese medicine, and then I did further studies with a Taoist priest, and then I realized, like, oh, actually it makes so much sense and it's all connected. So in terms of customization in Chinese medicine, it's about how we as individuals interact with our environment, right? How much stress do we have during like throughout the day? What type of lifestyle do we live? Right, we live a certain lifestyle in the West. Sometimes it's very go go go. It's can be all consuming, meaning you're constantly on some device of some sort, trying to grab or engage with your attention, even though you're trying to like let's say, okay, I have my phone on off by 10 p.m., but there's still a lot of things out there that want you to draw you and have you look at 5 more minutes, right? So finding boundaries of how you should live and engage with yourself and the environment surrounding you is very, very important. And Chinese medicine has a lot of tools that can help you create those boundaries because it's really backed by research and like, hey, over time, if you do this, this happens, right? Over time, if you do X, Y, Z, you will have a little bit easier time, right, as you age. So there's so many things I can go into, but in terms of
Can
Yina
you
and
give
what
a little example of
of
like, can you give an example of, let's say, a micro habit that someone can do that is
oh
TCM
yes,
related
yes,
that can
yes.
help create whether it's longevity or,
Yes.
healthier
So one of the
aging
biggest thing
or
is sleep, right? Sleep is something that a lot of people might have issues with, or they might not realize they have issues. If you're not getting at least, I would say 7 to 8, even 9 hours of sleep, then your body is not in its optimal shape. So in traditionally Chinese medicine, we say that you want to sleep before 11 p.m., preferably even 10 p.m. And why do you do that? So you go to bed. So I would say go to bed around 9. You just diddly daddly don't, use any electronic devices. Actually, put your electronic device at a separate room, right? And you
It's
should even
so
have a
hard for people.
yeah, and you shouldn't even have a television in your bedroom. I know a lot of people love having
Correct.
television. It's like the time where they wind down, but have it in a different room if you can. And you can watch your television, no problem. But by 9:30, or maybe 10 o'clock, you go to bed and you just wind down. You rest, you stretch, maybe you can read a book, not a digital book, maybe a physical book, because lighting really affects your sleep quality. And get ready for bed. And by the time you fall asleep at 11 p.m., that's like the perfect window of time, where your body, in Chinese medicine, we say it's the detox time. So it's the time where when you're in deep sleep from like 1 to 3 a.m. That is like really, really optimal for your body to detox. So that's the liver time, and it's the time when your body is like flushing out all the toxins from the day, and you're restoring your body. So Chinese medicine says this. Western medicine also says also says this as well. So it's amazing how a lot of research, sleep, especially sleep research, has supports a lot of these traditional beliefs that, hey, sleeping with the sun, when the sun sets, that's actually even better time to sleep, and then when the sun rises, that's when you wake, right? Because we have evolved with the sun, right? So if you let's say for people who are okay, I'm trying to go to sleep at 10, but I'm having such a hard time sleeping. What you do at that time, then you just lie on your back. You might even prop up your knees with a pillow, and you take 3 deep inhale and slow exhale. And when you do exhale, you do like a vocal exhale. And what this does is it helps release and detach our, what we call, there's a hun and po in Chinese medicine. It's our spirit, right? It detaches our consciousness with our subconsciousness. It's like really the time where we kind of separate. And so when you do this deep inhalation and exhalation, it just helps with your body to just relax and then fall into sleep. Like usually when I have difficulty, I do the 3 breath, maybe sometimes a fourth breath. That's okay too. I just fall asleep right away. And
Wow.
yeah, so give it a try, that breathing technique. So when I mean the exhale, it's like a full vocal, like body, like
But slow.
like literally you even vocally say that, and you just let go of the tension, let go of the strain, and it'll definitely help you. Give it a
Wow, that's
try.
so interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. And you mentioned, the word spirit, right? And I love that
Hmm.
about TCM because it is about mind, body, spirit. It's
Hmm.
not, it's about how we're all interconnected, which leads me to now talk about astrology. Um, and because I'm definitely going to do this the sleep exercise tonight. I think that's really really wild.
Yeah, give it a try
Um,
and then let me know, because if you need extra techniques, I'm happy to give it to you as well. But yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Um, so, kind of jumping to astrology. So, how do you see? Well, first of all, we're talking about Chinese astrology. Maybe you want to define Chinese astrology so that we're all kind of on the same page in terms of what you're thinking.
Well, the Chinese astrology I study was Ziwei Doshu, which is a form of, it's called like purple pole star astrology. And I studied it through my teacher, who was a Taoist priest, Liu Ming. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us anymore, but he was such a, deep, deep wisdom holder, and I was thankful to be able to be in his presence and learn from him. And the astrology itself, it's really just understanding cyclical time and patterns of time, and how it can influence our human connection with our environment, because we're always connected. We're not disconnected from the sun or the moon or the environment that we live on, which is Earth, right? We're connected. So this Chinese astrology, a lot of astrology just wants to explore how we as humans connect with everything, and how over time they see some patterns that kind of pull out, and we call it like chi. So the chi that's present in that moment of time of when you were born, and how that influences you. In Chinese medicine, we talk about qi a lot. Qi might be something confusing to a lot of people. They're like, what is qi? Is it energy? It's not just energy, it's more than energy. It's a presence, it's a being. And I think what makes the language translation makes it sound confusing because when you say the word energy, you're like, oh, there's like, electricity kind of going through. It's like it's not that. So that's why sometimes I don't like to use the word energy, or practitioners don't like to use the word energy to describe what qi is. But qi is, you can say it's sort of a connectiveness. You could say it's an energy thing. It's a resonance of your interaction with the environment. So there's qi within your body, and there's also qi externally in your environment, and everything emits qi. So when we are born, you are like influenced by that chi in that time, the hour, the day, the month, and the year, and how that um, can influence you. And so you probably have heard of Chinese zodiacs, like the 12 zodiacs. There's actually more. There's actually 60. It's 12, the 12 animals, but each of the animals have five elements. So,
Oh, I
yes.
did not know
So
that.
and each of the elements affects the way that the zodiac or the animals interact. I would say they are more than just archetypes. They're a characteristic that you can describe as an individual. So someone who is born this year, which is a wood snake year, would have a certain characteristic versus last year, which is a wood dragon year. It's a different like characteristics. And what I have done is just when I've read people's chart, just explore it and understand like, hey, is this, I think it's the science, a scientist out of me. Like I'm very like, does this make sense, right? Like you have these characteristics. Do you follow these characteristics and how they play into your life? And what I realize is yes, they do. And it's pretty like gnarly how much it is true and how it can influence you. So you have your individual zodiac, which is everyone always wants to know about, but you also have the grand scheme of things of the larger calendar, Tongshu, which is the lunar calendar, and how that interacts with your personal body too. So when I study astrology, it's like not just individual astrology, but it's just also the overall astrology of like the calendar year, month, day, like how that interacts with living and how I interpret it. Because me as an ox, a wood ox, like I interpret it differently than maybe you or someone else, which is maybe a different animal. So it's fascinating exploring this, and maybe it's just my love of learning. That's why I'm like really deeply into it. But I would say I'm still an amateur. I'm still learning, even though I've studied this for over 10 years now. But I feel like I still don't know anything. So if you ask me, I'm saying like I don't know, but I know a little, but I don't know.
It's kind of one of those things where the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know, or, you
Exactly.
can,
And
I mean,
yeah.
so talk to me a little bit about those five elements, right? So we're
hmm
talking wood, metal,
hmm
air, water,
No
and
air.
earth.
No air.
Oh,
So that's a different practice with different
oh, okay. So
elements.
tell me about the five
So
elements.
the five elements in Chinese medicine is wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. So those are the five. Yeah. No air. So
And
it's just water.
okay, and no, so, water. Right, right,
hmm
right, right, right. So depending on the year, so I was born in 1967. I am a sheep. Is there like already a set element assigned
Yes.
to that, or
Yeah.
there is a,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
depending on the actual year?
Yes, depending on your year, then that is an elemental year. So, and I could just look it up for you right now. 1967, it is, it's a fire goat year.
Oh yes, I'm very fire, but I'm also metal. But yes, I'm a lot
But
of
then you also have your month, your day, and your hour. So we look at all those things. So it's not just like, oh, it's a simple thing as, oh, you're a goat. And these are all the things that so a lot of times you find like all these astrology readings online, or they give a very, very general overarching theme of what the goat is. But it's actually quite detailed and specific because fire goat, but you might be born in a water dragon hour, and how does that influence you as a fire goat, right? And so there's all these elements, well, elements of the animal itself, and how that influence you, and of course your placement of your chart, all the stars and where they land, and how that just like shares your overarching story of your life, which is I find it really fascinating and beautiful. And every time I talk to a client, or I don't do this often, people are like, "Oh, you do astrology too?" Like I do it for friends and family, and maybe some some special people that I come across. I'm like, "Oh, I think it would help you if we look at your chart." And sometimes you can see where the points of challenges are. So I would say no chart is a bad chart. It's really where are the challenges, where are the areas that are your benevolent ancestors are supporting you, and where is it that you can focus on, and maybe you've already tended to focus on, especially if you're lived a few decades into your life. You're like, I already know who I am. So like, and then you look at the chart, you're like, oh yeah, you're just telling me what I already know, right? And you're like, well, I don't know you, but I'm looking at your chart, and this is like the tendencies of how the chi would flow based off of your time of birth and day of birth. So
So wild, so wild. So how does that, so let's say, so how does a TCM practitioner say, look at astrology, look at kind of what
mhm.
element you are in terms of how they're looking at your body and your health presently,
Yeah, so it
to
depends on the
treat something?
practitioner. Yeah, it depends on the practitioner. Some practitioners don't have Chinese astrology background, and so they might not utilize that tool. But there are some who do, and they can look up, like, okay, based off of your constitution, who you are, when you're born, maybe a certain day will be better for treatment than another day, and maybe a certain time would be better for you to get treatment than other times. So it can be very specific to that. Like even like during these times of treatment, certain points on acupuncture points on your body are more open or closed depending on the time of day. So for a
Wow.
practitioner who actually practices it, they can tap into this and utilize this as a tool. So, in Chinese medicine, studying Chinese medicine, there's just it's such an ancient medicine, so there's so many tools, right? So, and as a practitioner, you tend to resonate towards certain tools, and then as a patient, you actually resonate towards certain practitioners. So, I would say if you go see a acupuncturist or a Chinese medicine doctor, and you're like, I don't know about this, don't give Chinese medicine as an entire medicine as like a no for you. Go see another practitioner. You might you might not have resonated with that practitioner, and you might need to see someone else. And then when you find that person, it's this, we call it fate. You just have this fated energy to connect, and they can support you through and really hear you and connect with you when you're in the treatment room. Because when we're treating you, we're not just treating you for your ailment, because there's a lot of things that are contributing from your mental state to just even what you want to share at that point in time and on that day. Like maybe like that day you're like, I want to share my entire life. Of course, you have a finite amount of time, right? Or you might like, I don't want to say anything. Like I'm not comfortable with this person. Like I don't want to share, right? Or I'm going to share very little. And so all these things can influence you in your treatment. And I would say a good practitioner is someone who's able to work with you and give it a few tries. It's not just one treatment, it's usually multiple treatments, because this is something that's addressing your overarching, like, fundamental root cause of what your illness is, or where you're having troubles with. So,
Right.
yeah.
Exactly. I do love the fact that you say you talk about TCM. So TCM is not just like one monolith, right? There's just
No.
not one way of treating it. And I think that's also the beauty of it. And it's really the approach. I think that's same with Western medicine as well, right?
Oh,
Yeah, you go
yes.
see an orthopedist, not all
Oh,
orthopedists are going to
yes.
be the same,
Hmm.
or whatnot. So I think that that's really important to kind of keep in mind. And yeah, so that just because, and I was talking to someone recently saying how they had tried acupuncture and it didn't work, right? But then
Hmm.
they finally tried a different practitioner and it worked amazingly. So it just goes to show you how just some people are more intuitive, or they really understand your body more, whatever it may be, their technique, their approach, just
Yeah,
may
and
be more
even when you
suited.
go see a Western doctor, like some doctors are like, oh, I don't know about this doctor. I need to switch doctors. And it's a perfectly
Yeah.
fine to switch doctors, right? So, yeah, I think we're just understanding that we actually have more options as a patient, and there's actually many modalities out there that can help heal you, and there's no like this is better than that. It's really whatever works for you, and so that's what I love about Chinese medicine. It's like there are a lot of tools, but the fundamentals are all the same, right? The foundation. There's qi, there's blood, there's five elements, there's yin and yang, and those are not going to be different. So
Right.
the fundamental building blocks are all the same, and how we approach it can be very different, and that's what makes it the treatment unique because one way might not work but it works for a different individual, but you approach it from a different way and you're like, oh, I just was able to get through and I was able to treat the root problem of whatever the ailment may be.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And I do think, and you mentioned it before, but I would like to reiterate that getting a licensed practitioner is really important, right? Just not some
Yes.
Joe Schmo who
Yeah.
likes to make potions and stuff, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Someone who studied the medicine. It's quite rigorous. It's literally it's medical school. In the U.S., we actually have to study Western medicine as well. While we're studying Chinese medicine, it's at least 4 years, if not more. Especially in California. Other states might be like you could study just acupuncture, which takes a few years. But in California, we're also required to study herbs as well. And I see, Chinese medicine is very much. I mean, I just really resonate with the herb portion, so I love studying it. But it's all integrated, and then there's many different schools of thought and different like family lineages, so it can get on and on. But it's just all very fascinating, and I really respect the medicine, all of it, because at the end of the day, we are here to serve our patients and help our patients work through whatever problems they have.
Yes, absolutely. And I just love that. And I just love the fact that you have kind of really dived in into the medicine, herbology, astrology, and then you become an entrepreneur and create a company kind of studying the herbs, taking your knowledge base and your studies in TCM and creating beauty products. So why? So tell me a little bit about Yina. Tell me
Hmm.
why beauty, why skin? Why did you
Yeah.
decide to focus on that area?
Well, skin, it's our largest organ, in our body, right? We absorb at least 60% of whatever we put on top of it. I mean, this is why nicotine patches work and all these other topical medicine work when you just put it on top. So what you put on your skin really matters. And I always tell people like, you don't have to use the most fanciest thing, but if you can use things that are more natural, that would be better for your body. So our skin is really our first line of defense in terms of against any kind of ailments that might arise. We have something called Chinese medicine we call Wei Qi. So this qi, this protective qi that hovers like literally a little bit above our skin, and this Wei Qi, you know, putting certain products on there, doing certain things like Pai Da or Qigong will help strengthen the Wei Qi and helps strengthen and protects this protective barrier. I would say it's something that helps boost immunity. So the skin is just so important. And of course, you could say, okay, face. People look at faces, and that's something that people, that's like first impression is like looking at your face, right? But um, because you have all this to work with, we can do so much, and it's very, very mild. It's not as intense as ingesting something. And when you look at the skin or face of someone, we always say, do they have shen? Like, do they have this vibrancy, this glow about them, right? So you see that on your face, and the face is a reflection of what's going on internally inside your body. So let's say you have and oftentimes you see more chronic extreme cases of diseases will show up really extremely on the face, and you have more signs and symptoms. But for someone who
Like
you could,
jaundice, for
yeah,
example, right?
exactly, like jaundice. So for people who uh, so I always see it as like, oh, the skin, the face is so important. It's something that you spend a lot of, ladies do, but some men do as well, spend a lot of time looking at and exploring, and you can see analyze and evaluate, like, okay, how am I aging? How am I doing on a day-to-day basis? And when you're using skincare products, it's part of the self-care ritual that is very, very important, because oftentimes, we're busy, busy, go, go, go these days. So at Yina, we're really here to inspire you to create this self-care ritual for yourself, even if it's just 5 minutes. And you can afford 5 minutes in a day for yourself, if not more, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, because it's a time where you are breathing. You can breathe deeply. So when you're using our products, all of our products are lightly scented, and if they're scented, they're scented with essential oils at a very low dose, and it's actually medicinal and therapeutic. The blends of essential oil plants that we decide to put in formulation all have therapeutic value. So we don't really go into that when we when we talk about it on our website or when we just post on social media, but it's actually quite complicated, the way we formulate. And when we created Yina, we're like, okay, we want to create a beautiful product, an efficacious product, a product that's luxurious to use, and really help inspire people to take care of themselves. Because if you don't take care of yourself first, you can't take care of other people and the things that are surrounding you. So it's very important that your personal self is grounded and in a space where you have clarity and that you can support more people if you want to. And so all of our ingredients that we put in our products have Chinese medicinal botanicals in there. The way we formulate is very much like an herbal formula that would prescribe to a patient, and it's very much based on the seasons. It's based on how the herbs work synergistically together. So when we do an extraction, we actually get the raw herb. Oftentimes, we can as clean as possible. All of them are lab tested for heavy metals and pesticides, and those are not present in herbs that we use. And these herbs are all portioned out to various dosages and quantities, and then they are all combined together and then extracted together. So that's the key, and I think that's what makes it very important, because the way the chemistry of the plants work together, it creates a more elevated, a more potent function than just taking a single herb, extracting it, and then just putting all the extracts into a formula, and then there you go, we launch a product, which is actually majority of the products out there in the market are just here I've got here from here and there, and then just this is a product. So we
And
wanted,
sometimes they're not even extractions, right?
yeah,
And
sometimes they're
that,
not even extractions, and
which
lots
is
of
the best play,
fillers.
it's the best way to, yeah, get the nutrients from an herb is extraction versus powder or, I guess other, I don't know. I've heard people like just grinding up the herb thinking that that's going to, and then they can use that as an ingredient in their product.
Yeah, I mean, it
But it
can work
doesn't create the
too.
benefit.
Yeah. But it's different. It's different, right? So, and as an herbalist, we understand, like, oh, plants work better together. Like people, we work better together. So it's like, how do you create a formula that works really well together and then creates a beautiful final product? And so, yeah, it's a lot of labor of love, Yina, for both me and my co-founder, Yina. So we both met in grad school, and she's also a licensed acupuncturist and herbalist, and she has also a PhD in Chinese medicine from China. So we're very much
Yes,
practitioner driven brand, right? So we're always talking about creating the best products. I think what we fail in is marketing, because we're not marketers.
well, you guys have done no a beautiful job, and I love your products, and they're all very, you know, I love this kind of TCM beauty, right? So it's not only just for aesthetics or whatever, but there's just real medicinal herbal value to
Hmm.
your products. And I know you have a couple of products there. Maybe you can talk to me a little bit about some of these products and what makes them different from, any other product. Because there's a lot of beauty brands out there, right? It's a very
So many
crowded
beauty
space.
brands, yeah, and it is a really crowded space, and so when we create products, we want products that are multifunctional, And we see skincare as it's really beyond skincare. It's like not just skincare. It's like how do you integrate living a lifestyle that supports your health and well-being from the inside and out, right? And outside and in. So when we create products for external use or all of our skincare and body care products, we do that in mind. And then also our ingestibles are complementary to our skincare products. So we have this lovely lip treatment. Funny story. I don't know if I have time for this, but Irvina and I connected via lip balm. So I had a lip balm company when I was in grad school, using again same concept, using Chinese herbs combined together and creating lip balms that are in a little chapstick form, and it was before the lip balm craze. And she's a beauty product junkie, and she fell in love with my lip balm. And at that point in time, I was doing too many things. My entrepreneurial side was just wanting like, oh, I can do so many things, I'm like, well, I also need to finish school, finish my studies. So I decided to put that on the back burner and finish my graduate studies, and pass my boards. And Ravina approached me. It's like, hey, Angela, like, I know how topical beauty products and also topical application of Chinese medicinal herbs are just so powerful. Like, hey, let's take this to the next level from a lip balm. Let's create a whole line of beauty products. So it really started from the lip balm, and we launched this. Like late last year, early this year. And this is kind of the next evolution or multiple evolutions of that initial lip balm. And this has ginseng and manuka honey in it, and it has our herbal proprietary formula that we take, the extraction that we put in here that helps with anti-inflammation, that helps with nourishing the skin, and it's just amazing. So I don't know if you've used it. Have you used it, Visa? Like
No,
this
I've
is the
not
lip
used
treatment.
this.
Yeah. So it's
Oh,
really,
that's
really
so
light.
cool.
It's really gentle. It's like skin plumping. You also add a little bit of peptides in it. So this is pretty much like
Also,
if
there's a
you
tinge of color too.
no color. This is just I have
Also, your
like lip
lipstick
on.
is very red.
Yeah, I have some lipstick on, but you can apply it over lipstick, and it gives this like this glossy glow. So you see this glossy glow here. But this is really nice because it's a lip treatment, meaning like you can add a little thicker layer overnight and sleep with it, and in the morning your lip becomes really, really soft and really hydrated. So for people who are like, I don't like to reapply or apply lip balms, during the day, this is a perfect lip balm that you might want to try. It's a very affordable pricing, $28. This lasts a long, long time. I have a stick in it, all my bags. And I'm like in front of my office. I'm traveling right now, so it's definitely with me. And again, it's super hydrating. So that's one of our products. That's the beautiful story behind it. And then
That's awesome.
I can't travel without my handy dandy sheet mask. So our Divine Biocello sheet mask. It's one of the earlier products that we launched because we really love the biocellulose material. It takes 21 days to grow. So I don't know if you
Wow.
know of like kombucha SCOBY, like when you're
Uh-huh.
making kombucha, or some of us who make kombucha know of the SCOBY, which is this like, it's like bacteria, yeast symbiosis, and it becomes this like jelly layer. So it's sort of similar to that. So what we do is we grow it, and then of course we kill off all the bacteria and yeast, and then we infuse it with serum. So there's ginseng and centella in there, and ginseng you probably hear it all the time. Ginseng is so well known. It's one of the more well known Chinese medicinal herbs because it's just so powerful. It's like the human root, right? It's the root that it's like in so many classical texts. It's like, okay, if you want to save someone, give them ginseng, right? That's a little extreme, but ginseng can just do so much because it's an adaptogenic herb, meaning that if you need to decrease inflammation, it will help decrease inflammation. If you want it to help nourish you and help restore, it will help nourish and restore. So it has all these functionalities, and of course, there's so many research articles and modern research that really also support that. And so ginseng, we have ginseng in the sheet mask. So this is super hydrating. You leave it on. This is It's a little pricey for daily use, but I would say this is perfect for weekly use. You put it on, leave it on for an hour. I know the packaging says 15 to 30 minutes, but leave it on for an hour if you have time, and it will really rehydrate your skin and nourish your skin and brighten up your skin. And it's not drying at all. And it doesn't have any scent in it, which a lot of sheet masks do these days. And for me, I'm
Right.
very sensitive to synthetic scents, so we didn't put any scent in it because we want to make sure that anybody can use this, even people with really sensitive skin, eczema prone skin. This is actually really good, especially when you're having an eczema flare up. A perfect mask to use. Also, for people who have like sun, you're out summertime right now, so you're outside in the sun, you forget to put sunblock on. This really helps with sunburn. And
Oh,
yeah, so this material is the same material they use on burn victims, and also when during surgery for cardiovascular repair. Um, yeah, can't talk more about it, but I love the sheet mask, so definitely
that's
give that a try.
awesome. That's awesome. Yes, no, I've used the sheet mask. It's really, really wonderful. But I did not put it on for an hour, which I should try to do it for an
You should
hour actually.
try,
I just
yeah. And then there's all
and it
this
doesn't
like,
dry out like some of the
no, it
other
doesn't dry
masks.
out. And then there's all this fad with like I think a lot of Korean sheet masks, which we've actually been doing for a long time. You can actually leave it on trying overnight. And what it does is it creates this layer and it just seals everything in. And then in the morning, you splash your face with water. It tightens everything. And then you peel it off, and your skin will feel baby soft, guarantee.
Oh, wow.
So
Wow. That's
give that a
cool. Oh,
try.
I'm definitely going to try that.
Yeah, it
That's
might be a
so
little
cool.
bit like weird to get used to because it's like something like wet that you're sleeping with. But it's summer nights. It's like, oh, it's so nice and cooling, so you might like it. And
That's very
the
cool.
other product I love traveling with is our décolletage treatment balm. So the décolletage is neck, chest, and breast region, and this whole area is just so important. It's also uh, as a woman, you oftentimes forget about these, this area, and this area, the skin is actually more delicate than what's on your face. So oftentimes as we age, especially if we wear a lot of low cut shirts and we don't put sunblock in this region, then this area actually ages quite quickly. And so you want to make sure that you're, again, putting sunblock or keeping, this area covered, especially if you're in extensively exposed to sun during the day. But this area is very important because we hold our emotions here. We have a lot of acupressure channels that course through our chest region. And so we created the décolletage treatment balm to really address actually massaging this area or using the gua sha tool to actually improve and stimulate circulation in this area because oftentimes, um, Irvina, she actually had breast cancer and she found it through self massage and massage. And it literally what she found it a week after she did her mammogram, which is really weird, right? Like you would think the mammogram didn't even catch it. So, and
Wow.
yeah, so she found, and so this is like really near and dear to us because of her breast cancer story. And we're like, okay, people need to be aware of the ladies. You have to massage, you have to make sure you understand what's going on, the various different lumps, and understand this region of our bodies. So the décolletage balm really helps, again, drive circulation and chi to this area. And we actually use specific herbs that actually target this region of our bodies. So
Wow. Oh, that's so
definitely
wonderful.
give it a
Yeah,
try.
no, I really love the décolletage cream. I use it every day.
Yeah, it's really amazing texture and it's like it's a
Very
ritual.
light.
It's a ritual for yourself. So all of our products are really to help inspire a self-care ritual.
So as we begin to kind of wrap this up, Angela, so people want to get in touch with you, they want to follow you on the socials and all that kind of stuff. Where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find us at yina.co. That's our handle for Instagram. And you can find us. We also have TikTok as well. But that's where you can really get access to us. And of course, we have an amazing 15% off for all of you, your audience at Modern Aging, and the code is just Modern Aging for 15% off. And we are always on our social media, so if you want to direct message us, we will get back to you. Also, you can email us if you don't do social media. That's also perfectly fine. Our email address is hello@yina.co, and we'll have someone to answer all your questions. And by the way, we don't use bots, so they're actually people who are answering your questions.
Wow. Imagine that. People answering the phone. What a novel
Yeah,
idea.
exactly.
Angela, thank you so much. This has
Thank
been so
you.
incredible. I so appreciate you and all that you and Irina are doing. Thank you so, so much. And yeah, we're going to have to do this again.
Most definitely. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for listening and hearing our story.